Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about what is Grundrar the Fighter. So, I'm a huge fan of the Planet of the Apes series. So, I saw a few of the Charleston Heston Planet of the Apes movies. Back in the '60s and '70s, I'm familiar with them. I saw the original, and I think I saw a few more of them. And then I got very interested in Mark Wahlberg's Planet of the Apes, which I believe was also the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes. And I thought that was interesting, but that didn't go anywhere. Did it get two? I think it definitely got one. Maybe it got two, but it didn't really manifest. It didn't arrive in people's consciousness. It didn't really succeed, right? So what happened? So then came the Matt Reeves trilogy, right? Now I know there's another director in there. Who can remember his name? No one. But Matt Reeves, we all know. Cloverfield. He really brought the Planet of the Apes film. He brought the Planet of the Apes series, the recent trilogy, to life. And the reason we're talking today is they just announced, I got to watch the trailer for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which looks fantastic. I'm extremely excited about it. And very, very excited about it, and I think it's going to be fantastic. But I own on digital. I bought them on YouTube, but I actually own all of the Matt Reeves trilogy Planet of the Apes series on digital. So I started rewatching them, and in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Caesar is born, and then his mother goes through testing trials. He's brought home, and John Lithgow and James Franco's home, and Caesar begins to grow, right? And James Franco treats Caesar really, really well, and then at one point, by the way, spoilers for the Matt Reeves Planet of the Apes trilogy. So because we're going to get into the big ones here, right? So then James Franco starts bringing Caesar to the Redwoods, right? And there's this point where Caesar sees a dog, right? And these people are walking this dog on a leash. And Caesar gets back to the car, and he's sulking and he's upset. And James Franco signs to him, what's the matter? What's the matter, buddy? And James Franco loves Caesar, and he treats him incredibly kindly, and he treats him well. Asterisk, he is still using him for medical. No, he's not using it for medical testing at this point. So, but he definitely medical tested on his mom. So, I guess when you're dealing with humans, man, we are some wicked, wicked creatures. I just. Because he's treating him well and he's caring for him, but he legit, medical tested him on his mother, and commanded that 12 other chimps that knew his mother, be put down and be put down. So is he kind to him? That's a big asterisk, right? But then Caesar actually asks, and he says, "Am I a pet?" He signs the question to James Franco, and Caesar says, "Am I a pet?" Right? Because he realizes that the dog was a pet, right? A pet, which is really fascinating, right? And so he realizes that the dog is a pet, and then, which is really fascinating, right? And he says, "Am I a pet?" Right? And and James Franco says, "No, you're not a pet." And then he says, "What is Caesar?" He doesn't know what he is, right? Beautiful film. I absolutely loved this, this movie, and it's really, really fascinating film. And so, so you get to this point where he's asking, what is Caesar, right? And I think we reach this point where we are now reaching the point where there are so many player characters, and these player characters are coming in so many different types. They're being run by so many different people in so many different ways that I think we've reached the Caesar moment. And I think somewhere a player character is asking the question, what is Grundrar the fighter, right? And it's a fascinating question, right? Because the moment we ask that, we realize what are player characters, right? And the moment you think about this, like, what is a player character? Okay, here's a good question. I have a buddy. He sits down. He takes blank pieces. Takes blank character sheets and just writes up character sheets and plays 1 in 100. Right, literally, quite literally. He makes, on like, we'll do this on weekends. He might make 3 or 5 of them, right? And then every now and then he'll bring one of those to my table, right? Like, because there's an opportunity for a new player character to be played, right? And so the player character that he brings, the moment he speaks a single word in the game in the voice of that player character, then at that point you reach a point where you get to the point where then that is a player character. At the moment the player speaks words through the player character's mouth, it's a player character. Now, if the player was mute and they sign, if they communicate in some distinct way, generally that's going to be speech, right? I think the moment of player character is speech, right? Now, if there's some type of communication deficiency, that can certainly be replaced, but I think default it's speech, right? And that's a player character. Those other characters, what are those other? Those are populated character sheets. They are not player characters, right? And I think, we definitely reached a point where player characters are, where we're having this, what is Grundrar the fighter? Where Grundrar the fighter, the player character, is saying, what am I? Like, what is happening here, right? Where do I begin and where does this player begin? Where do I end and where does the player end? Because it's a mix. It is definitely a mix. Very interesting. I'm fascinated by this question. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.